Hello, hello, hello. So sorry that I wasn't able to speak to you guys yesterday. I was on the road, and for some reason the YouTube record wasn't working. But I'm back in my office, as you can see, and I want to address what, of course, this vlog is about. The most important thing. Now, basically, what I'm going to address today is what not to focus on, because there are many things in this world that are trying to distract you. There are many movements that are basically what they want to do is they want to capture people's souls. Now, what does that mean? You know, that sounds like kind of an esoteric thing. Some kind of like force is trying to capture your soul. But the truth is that's exactly what it is. Because what is a soul? One of the Hebrew words for soul, or the translations of soul, is desire. It uses the word desire and soul interchangeably. So imagine for a moment you had zero desires. You couldn't say that you're alive. Let's say somebody, I don't know, God forbid, in a coma. You can't say that that person is himself. He's not expressing any desires. So a person has a natural tendency to want. And therefore, the question is, what should you want? Now, it's very important to understand that there are in this world psychopaths, and they are what we also call narcissists. Now, a narcissist is it's a personality disorder, but it's a very common personality disorder. A friend of mine, a great psychologist and a researcher, Yochi Ress, he said that a psychologist once said that trauma, we're freaked out and we're nervous. 20 soldiers a day are unfortunately committing suicide. 50% of people that are homeless, that's a choice. They just can't function in reality or in society because they're traumatized. So trauma is a normal reaction to an abnormal circumstance. So there's normal reactions that create abnormalities. For example, if I'm walking around and I'm going like this the whole time, maybe my hand is hurting if it's open, so it makes sense. So it's an abnormal circumstance, a normal reaction to get away from the pain. And the same thing is when from my studies, what I've seen in Jewish mysticism, there are three reasons people develop in arrogance. The first is maybe they're kind of like this guy, he had issues, but he was like a famous rock star. So it made him arrogant. And he said it very clearly. The second, is somebody like the Germans. They come from the tribe of Amalek, and they're naturally arrogant. Anybody who's been to Germany sees this. It's actually quite repulsive. They have this innate arrogance. And last but not least is you have ironically, the exact opposite of arrogance that creates arrogance. And this is very common, and this is shame. So as a previous Rebbe gives an example, he says, let's say you're feeling your hand. Right now, I don't feel my hand. In fact, I don't feel any part of my body. I know it exists, but I don't feel it. Why am I feeling it? Well, it would be a sign that it's in pain, because a healthy hand you don't feel. And the same thing is when we become obsessed with ourselves. This lady, she did a video the other day, and she says to me, you see, there were cows. Look, they're looking at me. So when we're obsessed with how much people are looking at us, and that we even need that cows are looking at us, there's a deep, deep inner pain of the self. And that usually comes from somebody that was jealous of our actually pride and shamed us. And now if we trusted that person, could actually be a parent, because jealousy is in everybody. And it doesn't mean the parent doesn't also love, but the jealousy is also there. There are different emotions. And so therefore the person internalizes this idea that they are actually shameful. And now, just like the hand that is hurting, they begin to create in their own mind illusions of why they're really great. Now, the reason this is important is because, you see, the narcissist, like Obama, for example, like Hitler, they truly believe that they are the best person in the world. I mean, anybody who has any ability to see a person understands that Obama really thinks that he's the greatest, knowledgeable, most smartest person in the world, and every single person should be listening to him. So there is a problem here. And the problem is, as we saw what Hitler did in Germany and what Obama did in America, is that because they're so confident in their own opinions, and people, a lot of good people, are not so confident and they're looking for leadership. So these psychopaths become leaders. In America, based on Pew polls, which is a very, very nonpartisan poll, 27% of America, which is 45% of the Democratic Party, has become Obama cult members. Whatever he thinks is, he can say tomorrow the moon is blue. They'll all say the moon is blue. And so the point is that it's a very serious problem. Now, again, the point of this lecture is not to say the problem. I said yesterday, it doesn't take a genius to see the problem. It takes a genius to see the solution, and it takes a good person to work on the solution. So what is the point of life? The point is, first of all, don't get sucked up. And again, all these people, the commentators and on the left-wing media, you know, I taught in university. I was a lecturer of linguistics. We find also with the professors a lot of this kind of left-wing radicalism, and they're just basically they're narcissists because they think they're so hot. They think that they reach the pinnacle of society, that they're a professor. And so when people get this idea in their head that they are so hot, they're so great, so that makes them literally, I was thinking about this today, the Baal Shem Tov says, your bimachshava, your thoughts, when you're in your thoughts, then you have bisimcha, then you have joy. It's the same letters, bimachshava, bisimcha. So you see, my dear friends, when we're in our own thoughts, not somebody else's thoughts, when we're capable of thinking, then we can be joyous. But if we take away our thinking and we let somebody else do the thinking for us, you can't be happy. And so it's very, very critical in life to be able to discern, to be able to think, to be able to ask yourself the question, what is the purpose of this entire universe? And make sure you yourself are comfortable with the answer that you come up with.